Welcome to IAS project. You are watching lectures on ancient Indian history for UPSC Civil Services exam. These videos are also useful for all state PCS exams. If you want to watch these lectures in Hindi language, please go to my other channel, that is IAS Project Hindi. The link for this channel is given in the description section of this video. Now let's try to understand how dating of archaeological remains work. Dating of archaeological remains simply means finding out what is the age of archaeological remains, like pottery, stone tools, what is the age of those. There are many scientific techniques that are available to know the age or for the dating of archaeological remains. The first method is archaeological excavation of mounds. To understand the concept of mound, for example, the year is, let's say, 5000 BC. Let's say some people are living on the surface like this. They will build huts here, they will do hunting, and then they will bring animals here, then they will kill and eat, and eventually they will dispose of whatever is waste. Let's say they are using stone tools may get broken, they will throw away the stones here. Similarly, they will abandon all kind of garbage or whatever is not needed or whatever is abandoned by them. So after 200 to 300 years, what happens is the surface will get accumulated with whatever is the material that is left behind by these people. Now, when the new people come, the surface area is now this one, not the old surface, because all this is now garbage or dirt or whatever is the archaeological remains of the people who lived at 5000 BC. Let's say now the year is 4500 BC. Now people will start building again homes, and they will hunt animals, and they will throw away the bones, and they will throw away their pottery and everything. All the garbage is over here. Again, after 500 years, what happens is the surface rises. Now new people will come, new people will start building homes and doing stuff here, and they will throw away whatever is not needed by them. So eventually what happens is the surface keeps rising and rising. Today it is, let's say, 2022 CE. Please try to understand this. CE means common era. Okay. Sometimes you will also see the word AD. AD means Anno Domini. This is related to birth of Jesus Christ. So generally this word is used in literature. So whenever you write answers, please do not use AD. Try to use common era. This is used by most scientists also, and this is more secular word, I can say. Okay, so 2022 CE is nothing but 2022 AD, but it is always preferred that you write 2022 CE in your exam. So if you need to write about Harappan civilization and you want to say that Harappan civilization started its mature phase 4500 years ago, you can write it as 2500 BCE. It is before common era. Opposite of AD is BC, which is before Christ. So don't use before Christ or Anno Domini. Please use common era and before common era. Okay, anyway, going back to the mound concept, what happens is as people start to live in a particular area, the surface keeps rising and rising. So what archaeologists do today is they will simply start digging one layer at a time. Okay, now we know that all the material that is in a single layer belongs to a single time period. For example, between 5000 BCE and 4500 BCE. So this layer corresponds to 500 years in history. Similarly, this layer may correspond to maybe 300 years in history. And this one may be 600. This one may be 700. Something like that. So when archaeologists start digging or excavating, they will excavate by one layer at a time. All the objects that belong to the same layer are considered as the objects belonging to the same time period. And as they go from top to bottom, the age of the archaeological remains increases, which means they become older and older. For example, an artifact or archaeological remain that is found at this layer is very old compared to an archaeological object or archaeological artifact found in this layer. I hope you understood the concept of mound. The next and the most popular scientific method for dating archaeological remains is radiometric dating. Radiometric dating is actually a family of many type of dating methods. So most common dating methods within the radiometric dating are radiocarbon dating, potassium argon dating, uranium lead dating, and fission track dating. You don't need to go much into the details of this. Please understand the scientific methodology or scientific concept behind this. So radiometric dating generally involves using of radioactive materials. All materials like rocks and even plants and animals have certain amount of radioactive materials in them. Radioactive materials have a natural property called as radioactive decay. I hope you studied this in science and technology syllabus, but I will explain it very briefly. What happens is, in a radioactive decay, any radioactive material, when it is present, will start emitting certain kind of radiation. Alpha, beta, gamma rays and all those. When they start emitting radiation, this element, whatever is there, for example, if it is uranium, it will not remain uranium anymore, but little by little, it will start decaying into other products. So this is called as radioactive decay. Let's try to understand about radiocarbon dating. This is very important. Radiocarbon dating can be used only for organic material that comes from human or animal remains and plant remains. Okay, for example, human source, it can be human bones. Similarly, animal bones also, or leather. Okay, plant remains, for example, dead trees. Okay, burnt wood is nothing but charcoal. You can date charcoal also using radiocarbon dating method. Similarly, burnt food grains can also be dated. Seeds can also be dated, and other plant and animal remains can also be dated using this technique. Let's try to understand about radiocarbon dating and how it works. See, atmosphere has carbon dioxide. The carbon in carbon dioxide is generally two types. One is carbon 6 and 12, and the other is carbon 6 and 14. 6 is nothing but the atomic number, 14 is nothing but the mass number. Here also 6 is atomic number, 12 is mass number. Now, if the mass number is 14, this is called as radioactive carbon. This carbon is not called as radioactive carbon. This carbon, which is a radioactive carbon, undergoes radioactive decay. So, within the atmosphere, carbon is present in the form of carbon dioxide, and some carbon dioxide is actually radioactive carbon dioxide. We know that plants as well as grasses and all these consume CO2 from the air during photosynthesis process and produce food. Let's say this plant has produced one fruit, or this grass has developed, let's say, some grains. Now an animal is coming and it is eating these grains or this fruit, or a person is coming and eating these grains or this food, or the person is hunting the animal which already ate this food and eating the meat of that animal. Please try to understand what is happening in this process. First, plants have absorbed radioactive carbon dioxide. Now, because of eating of plant-based food, animals as well as humans have absorbed radioactive carbon into them. Okay, what happens is, as long as a plant or animal is alive, there is a steady exchange of radioactive carbon between plant and atmosphere, and similarly person and atmosphere. But at the instant the person and plant dies, what happens is there is no exchange of carbon anymore. So whatever is the carbon present in the dead person or dead plant or dead animal for that matter, what happens is the radioactive carbon starts to decay. But the normal carbon does not decay because it is not radioactive. So in the future, if we get a sample of that person, let's say sample of the bone we have got, or sample of the wood from the tree we have got, or let's say seeds from the plant. Now within this bones and within this wood and within the seeds, what happens is the radioactive carbon which was present when the person died had started to decay upon his death onwards. Similarly, when the tree died, the radioactive carbon has started to decay. So year by year, year by year, year by year, what happens is the amount of radioactive carbon in this starts to decrease. Now, if we calculate what is the ratio of radioactive carbon to normal carbon within any sample, we can know what is the age of the sample, because we know that radioactive carbon's half-life is 5730 years. This is called as half-life period. Generally, it is written like this, lambda power 1 by 2. What half-life period means is, let's say we have taken 1 kg of radioactive carbon. For half kg of the radioactive carbon to transform into some other material, generally it becomes nitrogen, all right? It takes this much time. Okay, we know this. So by calculating the ratio of radioactive carbon to normal carbon at any time, we can know what is the age of this sample. So this is how basically carbon dating works. If you want to know more about this carbon dating, please check our notes, which is available on our Telegram channel. Okay. So radiocarbon dating, as I have explained, is only available for organic material, that is plants and animals and human beings and whatever their remains are. Similarly, potassium argon dating, which is K40 and argon 40, is used for dating of volcanic rocks. Uranium lead dating is also one type of radiometric dating. Fission track dating is also there. Other method is thermoluminescence dating. This is mainly used for inorganic material that has been heated at one point of time. Okay, for example, if you have made pottery and you have heated it in a kiln, then you can know what is the age of a pottery from thermoluminescence dating. Similarly, terracotta. Terracotta is nothing but fire baked clay. So you are making a clay figure basically and you are baking it in fire. That is nothing but terracotta. So terracotta has also been heated. So that is why you can employ thermoluminescence dating on terracotta also. Similarly, burnt bricks also. Because they are burnt, you can use thermoluminescence dating. Dendrochronology is used for studying age of trees. Dendrochronology simply means study of tree rings. Let's try to understand dendrochronology. What happens is, let's say there is a plant. This is a small plant. Okay. With time, it starts to grow bigger. Okay. After, let's say, 100 years or so, now it has become even bigger. So what happens is, if we see the cross section of this plant, it is like this. The trunk part is very small. If you look at the cross section, it is like this. It is big. If you look at the cross section of this plant, it is very big, like this. So these are called as tree rings. 1 tree ring, 2 tree ring, 3 tree ring, 4 tree ring, like this. So what happens is, every year the plant starts to grow, it will add 1 tree ring. Okay. There are some exceptions, but this is very generally what happens. Okay. There are some exceptions. For example, in ice ages or severe winter, if there are forest fires, there are exceptions. But generally, every year 1 tree ring grows on the trunk of the tree. So by counting the number of tree rings, you can estimate how many years the plant has been surviving for. So this method is called as dendrochronology. So dendrochronology is also called as study of tree rings. The last important method I should say, is amino acid analysis. This is mainly used for dating of bones. It can be human bones or animal bones. Alright, please subscribe to this channel. If you want to watch this video in Hindi, please go to IAS Project Hindi channel. I have given the link for this channel in the description box below. Also, please join Telegram channel if you want to get material, presentation, notes, practice questions as well as mock tests. The link for the Telegram channel is also given in the description below.